breakdown video on how to do the singles exercise. If you are a beginner and you haven't already learned how to do starts and stops, I would highly recommend watching my breakdown video and my full out on that first before you attempt to do the singles exercise. The singles exercise is very similar to starts and stops. We're going to go through a vertical catch, a port catch, flat, and a dip angle. The difference really is that instead of doing a half rotation, you do a full rotation. So that's why it's called the singles exercise. So we're going to start off with the right flat. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to take 4 spins. 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, I'm going to do a whole rotation, and I'm going to catch straight up and down. My hand is going to be up against the butt, and my left hand is going to be splitting the bolt and the swivel. So on 4 is when I flip 4 and 5, and I stop on count 5 on the catch. From here, I hold 6, I money on 7, so I have that money hand, and then from here I go 8 and a 1. So let's go ahead and take 8 plus 1 counts. 5 and 6 and 5, 6, 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, 6, money 7, 8 and a 1. So you want to make sure that whenever you're doing this exercise that you're really thinking about making sure that you're not moving whenever the angles happen on counts 5, 6. That way your rifle isn't moving and the placement is just crisp, clear, and perfect. Whenever we do like starts and stops or the singles exercise, it's really all about manipulating your rifle and doing the least amount of movement because it's the most impressive. So from here, we just did that money on 7. We spun 8 and 1. We're going to continue to spin on 2, 3, 4. And this time, we're going to do a single again, but we're going to catch at a port angle. My right hand is going to be over, my left hand is going to be under at the same placements. You want to make sure that you're nice and boxed out when you do this. So let's go ahead and take that. 5 and 6 and 5, 6, 7, push and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 6, money 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6, money 7, 8 and a 1. So whenever we do from the money hand on count 7, my rifle tip goes down on count 8. On the and count, it goes up into that drop spin, and I come back down to start my single spins, repeating it on count 1. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a flat. Now, whenever I go into a flat, since it's going to be more rotation, I really want to think about turning over my wrist and keeping my wrist at my spin spot. That's going to be super important. You don't want to lift your wrist until you get to the dip angle, which if you watch my starts and stops video, you've already seen that kind of thing. So I'm going to do my flat angle, keeping my wrist at my hip level. And then when I go ahead and do my dip angle, I'm going to lift my wrist to my shoulder. That way I can just re-grab, making sure that I keep my elbow down. Now from here, it's really difficult because you have to think about squeezing and maintaining this angle without lifting. So it's super important that whenever you're going into this, that you're really thinking about maintaining that dip angle so that you can go back into your spins and then finish on the right side with the flat. So let's go ahead and take let's go ahead and take the flat angle, the dip angle, and the flat angle. 5 and 6, and squeeze, push, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, 6, money 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, lift, and a 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So you want to make sure that whenever you're doing that you're really thinking about those level changes, and you want to make sure that you're also keeping your wrist in line with your shoulder, column. That way you're not pushing your rotation too far over, because if you do that, then you're going to have to reach for it. So let's go ahead and go through the right side. 5 and 6, and squeeze, push, and a 1, 2, 3, 4 to vertical, money 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, port, and 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a 1. and a 5. So on that first one, did you notice that I kind of missed with my hand? That was because I lifted up too far. So whenever you're doing that first one, you want to keep that toss right where it's supposed to be at, and you want to think about grabbing down low. So make sure that you don't make that same mistake whenever you're doing it. You really want to keep everything localized, and it's just about you with your hand placements and how you manipulate your rifle. Let's go ahead and do the left side. So we caught on 5, we hold 6, 7, we push 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, I'm going to do a single. When I do that single, I'm going to catch with this hand low, and it's my left hand, and it's at the tip of my rifle, and my right hand is going to come up to meet my rifle. Now, when you do this straight up and down, you want to make sure that your bolt all the way to your nose is perpendicular, so it's vertical whenever you do it. You don't want to think about like using the strap to guide off of, because then it's just going to not look as crisp and as clean as it could. So from here, we catch on 5, 6, we do a money hand on 7, we go into our spins, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4. From here, I'm going to go into that port angle, 5, 6, money 7. So let's go ahead and just take those first two angles, 5 and 6, and the squeeze, push, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from here I would go 6, 7, 8, and a 1. Now the next two are going to be your flat angles. Now because left side is normally the non-dominant hand, it's going to take more effort and energy for you to get from the flat and then to the dip whenever you're going into that single. Make sure though that you're not overcompensating by pushing your wrist with it, because when you do that, your toss is going to go in that direction as well. So make sure that you're really thinking about just turning your wrist over right in front of you, and that's going to help you. So it's the same thing. You do four spins, flipping on count 4, catching flat on count 5, holding count 6, money hand on 7, and then we push down 8 and a 1, which is then going to start my next set of spins going into my dip angle. Let's just do the flat though. 5 and 6 and 5, 6, 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, 6, money 7, 8 and a 1. Now from here, just like on the right side, I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to flip, taking my wrist up to my shoulder level, and then I'm going to try and keep my elbow down as I go in to that dip catch. If I'm up here, it's going to be harder for me to control my rifle. If I'm here, my rifle, there's counter motion going on with my right hand coming up to meet it, so it's going to be easier for me to stop. So let's go ahead and take that, and then let's go ahead and finish it out with the 4 spins into the single flip to flat for the end. 5 and 6 and 5, 6, 7, push and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5. And that's going to be how you finish it. Now from here, you could always bring it in and down, or you could just end at a flat. It doesn't matter, just whatever preference that you have. So let's go ahead and take the left side all the way through the exercise. 5 and 6 and the squeeze, push and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 5. And then you would hold 6, 7, 8, or you would move